That's one hit. That's another. So I remember when these Mosin Nagants were extremely cheap and plentiful, and they kind of had a reputation for being garbage rods. A lot of them didn't have good barrels. Their action was really gummy. Rounds would get stuck, all that good stuff. They weren't very accurate. And unfortunately, it's kind of tarnished the name of the Mosin Nagant. I like these old rifles. And not just because they were cheap at one time and you can get, you know, a bunch of them if you wanted, but it was just, if you found a good one, they were extremely accurate. I think Mosin Nagants back in the day, they were extremely good rifles. I mean, they did very well against the Germans in any case in World War II. But, you know, I think it's harder just to find a really good one, but they're out there. This is an old carbine right here. And I've had several different Mosins over the years. Now I only have two. I have this one, and then I have a old M9130 dated 1936 that I've had for years. The cool thing about these guns is the simplicity, and you know, I still have a ton of ammo. I bought a lot of ammo for it when 7.62x54R was dirt cheap, so I got tons of ammo still. And you can still find it pretty inexpensive on the market. Tool Ammo makes steel case 7.62x54R. You can find some American brands. They make it as well. The surplus, I think you can still find a decent amount of surplus, but from what I understand, it's dried up a little bit. It's still out there though. But the gun, I mean, for as far as a bolt action rifle, I really like the just the kind of whole design of it. It's just built extremely tough. I think, you know, after the nuclear apocalypse, the only thing that's going to survive are AKs and Mosin Nagants. But when you find a good one, I mean, for crying out loud, the action on this thing is just like butter. Even if I, here, I'll drop the hammer on it. It's still like butter. And my 9130 is about the same way. The accuracy, beginning of this video, you saw a clip of me shooting an M44 out to 895 yards. The accuracy is there, guys. It's not a precision rifle in the sense you're not going to get inch groups all the time, and you know, there's some quirks to it, but it's a very accurate gun. You just got to do your part if you have a good Mosin Nagant. The cool thing I like about these old rifles, notwithstanding that they're, you know, built tough, it's just the looks. They look mean. I really like how mean they are. I like, you know, it's the same thing with all the military surplus rifles. I really like the looks of the gun. I mean, the commercial bolt action guns out there, they kind of fall flat. They all look the same, and it is what it is. For those that aren't familiar with the 7.62x54R, here's some right here. These are actually soft points. And this is a good round. I live in the mountains, and it's bear country and all that stuff, and this is a good one right here. Nice, good soft point. Get good penetration, good expansion. Just a heavy hitting round. People, you know, when they think about using the Mosin Nagant, or when they buy one, if they buy one, or if they're thinking about buying one or using one, if they look on YouTube, they might get a little bit of a stereotype going on. I remember back when the Mosin Nagants were just on the market, or I should say not just on the market, but when they were plentiful on the market, when they had those huge shipments coming in, you could pick these things up for like $70, $80, $90 a pop for the standard 9130s. There was a lot of people that just bought them just because they could. There was a lot of people that bought them and tried to make them into something they were not. And what I mean by that is taking the Mosin Nagant and doing all kinds of modifications to it, changing the stock, drilling, tapping, doing this, that, and the other thing, sporterizing, or putting some weird scope on it, or a pistol grip, or detachable mags, this, that, and the other thing. Which, I mean, whatever. It's people's choice on what they want to do with their firearms. But unfortunately, that's one of the things that gave the Mosin kind of a bad name, is you're trying to turn it into something that it's not. I like the rifle just as it is. I mean, you can give it a paint job or whatnot. My other Mosin Nagant rifle, which in fact I'll pull out here, you guys are familiar with it, but my other Mosin Nagant rifle is a standard 9130, but I did have it Duracoated a long time ago, and Duracoat is still holding strong. There it is right here. I'll just move this sucker out of the way. There it is. There's that beautiful piece of work right here. And this is this operates just about as well as the carbine. The action is smooth, not as smooth as a carbine, but still very smooth. I mean, the carbine is like just butter. The action on this 9130 is still butter, but more like refrigerated butter, I guess. But anyway, you know, you can paint them, you can do that stuff, but I like to keep them just the way they are because it's just down and dirty. They function well. I don't think you're going to add anything to it by throwing an optic on it or doing anything like that. You could. I actually shot one with the Archangel stock, and it was kind of neat to shoot, but it really didn't. It actually felt worse in my hands than just having the old standard military stock on it. One thing I like to do, and I do it a lot with my bolt guns, the Mosin Nagant, these little ammo carriers right here. I like to throw them on there. But that's not modifying the gun in any case. It's just something that you can take off. You're not doing any permanent mods to the gun. But, you know, Mosin Nagants, unfortunately, they're not as expensive or not as cheap as they were, but they're still around. You have to search to get a good deal. I don't know if they're worth the amount that people are charging right now. I guess they are, but, you know, for me, it's hard for me to pay that money for them because I just remember getting them for, you know, like $100 a pop. So I'm always going to think of that rifle in that case, just like SKSs. I cannot purchase a $450 SKS now because I remember when they were like 79 bucks. They were dirt cheap. Same with Mausers. Mausers, I love Mausers. Mausers were extremely cheap too, but now they've kind of went up. And I think that's just the nature of the beast when you're talking about surplus guns. You know, it's just, you know, when the supply runs out, the demand goes up, and sure enough, now you've got a higher cost. But you know, I'm kind of just rambling on, but I really, really like these old guns. Mosin Nagants, I think, are just one of those old school firearms, just like the Mausers, just like the 1903s, the various other rifles back in that era, the World War I, World War II era, that were just built to be simple and pretty much a tank. I think if you guys haven't shot a Mosin Nagant yet, try it out. I think you really like it, especially if it's a good Mosin. If you have a crappy Mosin that the barrel's just not good and the action is just kind of messed up, then it kind of takes away from the pleasure of shooting it. But if you get a good one, you'll find it's actually a really nice rifle to shoot. You'll have fun with it. The one thing about shooting a shorter barreled Mosin like this guy right here is the muzzle flash. That's always kind of a fun thing. You shoot one indoors or you shoot one out at a range or something, especially in dusk or cloudy conditions, you can really enjoy that muzzle flash. It's kind of what they're known for. But in any case, try it out. You know, if you have a buddy that has one, get out there, get some ammo for it, and have fun with it. I don't know how many of the bad Mosin Nagants are on the market still. I haven't really messed with it, but again, I can't stress enough, really pay attention if you're going to get one of these rifles, to just kind of make sure to really inspect it, make sure you got a good bore, make sure the action is good, so that way you get an enjoyable experience out of it. And these things still make a great backwoods gun. If you're looking for a gun that's not really a collectible, at least not yet it isn't. If you're looking for something that's not really a collectible, something that you can backpack around, then yeah, that wouldn't be a bad choice. But in any case, let me know what you guys and gals think. How many of you guys still pack your Mosins around or still have them in your inventory? I know what a lot of people did is when the Mosins started getting more expensive is they kind of took them and sold them off and made money, which that's fine too. But in any case, that's enough yammering. I just really like these old guns. I think they're great for, for many different uses. If anything, it makes a good gift idea if you can find one that's cheap enough. But in any case, I'll get off here. I'm just kind of rambling, but I still recommend them. If you can find a good one, go ahead and rock and roll with it. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and as always, stay safe.